It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to this middle school edition of Science Bowl. Thanks for spending part of your day with us. Let's meet today's teams. First from Hyattsville Middle School, please say hello to Billy Kennedy, Mahalia Lutz, and Sean Mipagala. And from Walker Mill Middle School, please welcome Victor Udahiri, Isaiah Burrows, and Grant Rice. And now, here are the categories of questions we use on Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty, with the easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10 points, and the tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties for incorrect answers. At the end of the 2 rounds today, we will have an opponent for Kenmore for that coveted 4th semifinalist slot in this year's middle school competition. Let's make sure everything's working properly. Let's go to the red team. Mahalia, would you try your buzzer for me? Thank you. Good luck to you and to Billy and to Sean. And Isaiah, would you try yours? That green light looks like it's working just fine. Good luck to you, to Grant, and to Victor. Are we ready to play? Yes. Let's do this. Nice to see you all back again. These are all veteran players, and I know we're going to have a good game. May the better team win. We go alphabetically H before W, so Hyattsville, Mahalia, let's play the bowl.
Okay, we'll take body systems for 15 points.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, if your opponent goes for the jugular, what large body part on you are they aiming at? Walker Mill.
Esophagus.
No, not the esophagus. No, good try. If your opponent is going for the jugular, what large body part is your opponent aiming at, Mahalia?
Your throat.
Be more specific, please.
The larynx. Neck.
Not quite. The jugular is a vein, the large vein on the side of your neck. Vein was the correct answer. Go red.
Okay, let's get physical for 15 points.
Get physical for 15 points. Teams, stellar dendrites are the kind of these hexagons favored by skiers because they make for very fluffy skiing. Mahalia on Hyattsville's team. What are stellar dendrites?
Snowflakes.
They're snowflakes. They are a specific kind of snowflake that cannot be manufactured at a ski slope, so that has to come from the firmament up above. Red, please.
Zoo Parade for 15.
Zoo Parade for 15 points. Teams, look at the monitor, please, in the studio, if you would. Teams, a taxi driver in Washington was driving past the National Zoo. He said, I just saw one of these flightless. Walker Mill?
Bird.
More.
Kiwi.
Kiwi, that's what I want to hear. What kind of flightless New Zealand bird did he think he saw on Connecticut Avenue? He thought he saw a kiwi. It was actually a more common woodcock that is native to this area. All right, good. Go. Green.
Science Potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. A multiple choice question. Teams, if you go to Australia and you flush the toilet, the water goes down the opposite direction because of the trade winds, gravity, or Coriolis forces. Which of those 3 things makes the toilet water go counterclockwise?
The Coriolis forces.
You got that right, Coriolis forces, Mahalia. Good. Red.
Okay, we'll take green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, it's still exciting when this reproductive method is used with mammals, but with plants it's been going on for a long time, producing scions and cultivars and other kinds of identical copies. Mahalia.
Cloning?
Cloning is right. Yes, indeed. Good. We're Using up all the 15-point questions, where next? Red.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, historians now think it is apocryphal that George Washington really did chop down this. Walker Mill.
A cherry tree.
A cherry tree, that's right. It makes for a great story. It may or may not be true. All right, thank you, Victor. 75-95, green advantage.
Daylight science for 15 points.
Dateline for 15 points, teams. New levees are being built downtown to save our monuments from flooding on the Potomac River after we saw what happened 5 years ago in Hyattsville.
Hurricane Katrina.
Hurricane Katrina, that's right. That provided a sobering lesson, showed what can happen if we don't have well-protected riverfront property. Good. Thank you, Billy, for your assist on that. Red again.
Zoo parade for 10.
Zoo parade, 10 points, teams. We know that a mermaid is a half woman and a half fish. Pan is a half a man and a half a goat. But the Minotaur was, yes, Walker Mill.
Half man, half horse.
No, not horse. No, a Minotaur was a half man and a half what?
A bull.
A bull, that's right. Half man, half bull was the Minotaur. Go, red.
Body systems for 10.
Body assistance for 10 points. Excuse me. Multiple choice question. The periosteum is the thin skin that surrounds your blood vessels, your nerves, or your bones. Walker Mill.
Bones.
Bones is right. Osteum was your clue there, and you picked up on it, Grant. Good. Green.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, back in the 1950s, long before you were born, there was a rock and roll band called Bill Haley, and his guys were named after what kind of tailed celestial bodies? Walker Mill.
Comets.
Comets. Bill Haley and the Comets, like Haley's Comet. Go. Green.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. Multiple choice question. Teams, when bamboo dies every 50 years and goes to seed, that process of producing voluminous numbers of seeds is known as masticating, morphing, or masting. Walker Mill.
Masting.
Masting is correct. Absolutely right. Oak trees do that too. When they mast, they produce large numbers of acorns each year. That buzzer means our first round is over. Look at that score. Almost a dead heat. Hyattsville 120. Walker Mill 115. We'll see you on the other side with round 2 in just a second. Don't go away. And welcome back to Science Bowl. We hope you're enjoying this game at home as much as we are here in the studio. Before we ask any more scientific questions, a few personal ones. Let's find out about our teams. And they hail from schools with storied histories. Hyattsville, in our 25-year history, has won the middle school championship 5 times. Most recently, 2009. And Walker Mill, a 3-time champion. Your last championship was back in 1997. So you know what it's like to be in the winner's circle. And we're really proud of both of the schools that are here today. And 6 players, if they look familiar, they should. They've all played our game before. Let's go first to Hyattsville. Mahalia, nice to have you back. Played with University Park at one time. How many times have you been on our show?
Twice before.
Twice before. And you play a great game. How did they make you the captain?
Well, we all got together, and I guess I just had some leadership skills that were valuable, but either Sean or Billy would also make a great captain. That's a very nice thing to say, and you obviously have leadership skills. You're doing a great job there. Tell us about Hyattsville. You have a new principal, don't you? Yes, we do. Dr. Long.
Dr. Long, out there rooting for you. And who's the sponsor of your team?
Miss Hafez.
And I know she has been working hard, and we've been going back and forth with emails to make sure that she had everything she needed for today. Tell us a little bit about your team. Were there alternates on your team?
Yes, there are. We have 3 alternates with us here today: Kevin Durham, Megan Dominy, and Jordan McConney. Wonderful. We'll bring them out with Miss Hafez in a few moments so all of you can get a chance to meet them, because they work just as hard, that shadow team. Tell us about yourself, Mahalia. I know you like to sing in your spare time. You sing in the choir, correct? Yes, I do. And there's a great fine arts program at Hyattsville, and I know you care passionately about it and its continuation there. Tell us what you want to do when you get older. Well, I'm hoping to go to college on a scholarship. That'd be pretty cool. I'm not quite sure what I want to do for a career yet. There's a lot open for women in math and science, so maybe engineering or neurology. That's wonderful. And I know you do a lot in your spare time when you're not singing. What else do you do? I know you like to read. I do love reading. I like reading novels, like fairy tales and fantasies. That's great. Good to have you on our program. Sean, nice to have you back again. Time 5 or 6 for you? 5. 5. Well,
This man has that zen about him. He's very calm, but he knows everything. He plays our game so well. Sean, tell us your story. What do you do in your spare time?
Well, I like to read, play video games, origami. I like to play my viola and piano.
You're so talented. You've got musical skills, athletic skills, academic skills. Origami, so many young people today have found it. What is it about origami that you like?
Me? Well, I just like how they just look. Like for the crane, it's like very beautiful. So I always want to learn how to make that.
It's a real talent, and some people they can make cathedrals out of origami. I mean, it can really get almost like Legos when you're finished. Billy, nice to have you back with us. You always play a nice game. Why do you want to be on the Science Bowl?
Just because I like science.
You like science, and that's evident. What do you want to do someday?
I hope to be a scientist, preferably in space.
In space, well, and you told me you might even want to work with the CIA someday if you don't work for NASA. You like to read? And I know we were talking about the Harry Potter books and movies. You like the last movie?
Yep.
Yep. All right. Let's go over and talk to Walker Mill, Isaiah, and Victor and Grant, all returnees. Nice to have you guys with us. You have a nice presence about you. We love having you here. Tell us about your school, Isaiah. What do you like best about Walker Mill?
The wonderful education that we receive.
Wow, what a nice tribute to the teachers and to the principal and to the parents that everyone's working together to make that place work as well as it should. Who's your sponsor?
Miss Sides and Miss Cotton.
They're out there right now. Miss Cotton has worked very hard, brought Walker Mill back into the Science Bowl fold over the past couple years. And who's your principal?
Mr. Brown.
Absolutely, good guy. And any alternates on your team?
Yes, Alvin Hannon.
And we'll bring Alvin out in just a few moments. Tell us about yourself, Isaiah. You've been here before. What do you like about the game?
It's an opportunity for us to experience science and shows and learn more about science while we study.
Absolutely. So we hope a lot of the things you study in the classroom, you can connect to the real world and then answer the questions we pose for you here. What do you want to do someday?
I'm not really sure yet, but I know I want to go to college.
And you'll be successfll at that, and there are a lot of choices out there. Grant, I know you're interested in engineering, so you must be a good math student as well.
Yes.
And I know you like to read. What do you like to read?
Like mostly science fiction and novels.
Very good. And tell me, how many times have you been on our show?
I think this is my fourth.
Fourth time, I know. You're a regular. We've seen you grow up here on Science Bowl. Victor, nice to have you back with us. Tell us about your professional dreams.
I'm down to two choices. I either want to be a lawyer or engineer computer science.
Wow, okay. And I know you like to work with computers. Yeah. And what do you like about the Science Bowl?
What I like about Science Bowl, it lets you see like how good you really are at what you do.
Absolutely. And we know you're good already. This is just icing on the cake because it's hard to be here when the lights are in your eyes, but you all acquit yourself so well. Let's get back to our game. Almost a tie. Hyattsville 120, Walker Mill 115. Last correct answer came from the green team. You're 5 points down. Isaiah, let's choose one.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, the color that a fall leaf eventually takes, yellow, orange, red, brown, is determined by the amount of acidity in the leaf. The amount of acidity can be measured on what scale? Walker Mill.
pH scale.
pH scale. That's what I want to hear. Good. Go. Green.
Zupre for 20.
Zupre, 20 points. Teams. Perhaps uncharitably, some reporters are saying that the politicians in this year's lame duck session of Congress are like invertebrates because they have no what? They have no what, Hyattsville?
They have no backbone?
They have no backbones, those spineless politicians. All right, go. Red, good.
Potpourri for 10?
Potpourri, 10 points, teams. Question is as follows. There's a new book out called The Blank Wars, which is about parents for and against inoculating their children against diseases. It's called The What Wars? Walker Mill.
Vaccine.
You got it. The Vaccine Wars is the exact title of the book. Green.
Body system for 20.
Body systems, 20 points. Teams, a doctor who specializes in otolaryngology treats the ear, the nose, and this body part. Walker Mill.
The larynx.
More specific, give me another term.
The throat.
The throat, that's right. Ear, nose, and throat specialist. Good. Green.
Let's get physical for 20 points.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, probably the best place to sit on an airplane is in the center because an airplane is like a seesaw, And the center of the plane, if you want to have a relatively calm flight, is where the pivot is. The other name for the pivot, Hyattsville?
The fulcrum.
Got it. That's what I want to hear. Good answer. Thank you. Gentlemen and lady, Mahalia, go.
Dateline for 10.
Dateline for 10 points, teams. Ho ho! It's CSI for the ages. They just dug up a long dead astronomer in Denmark because they think he was poisoned by some of his enemies. They are going to use what branch of science to determine who done it, Mahalia?
Forensics.
Forensics is right. Yes, good. Go.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points, teams. Unlike in football, if you win a game, if you win the National Science Fair and you're at the White House, no one is going to dump a jug of this on your head, Walker Mill.
Gatorade.
Gatorade, that's right. That's what President Obama said to the winner. No one's going to dump Gatorade on your head. Go, green. Nice answer. 170 all. Tie score.
Dateline for 20.
Dateline for 20 points, teams. Before he became Energy Secretary, Stephen Chu learned how to freeze atomic particles with lasers, thus winning him the Nobel Prize in what field? What field, Hyattsville?
Physics.
Yes, ma'am. Physics it is. Good. Go.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems, 5 points, teams. The longtime logo of the rock and roll band, the Rolling Stones, is this taste bud studded fleshy protuberance. Walker Mill.
The tongue?
That's right. It's a big old tongue hanging out. Thank you, Victor. Good. Go. Green.
Body systems, 25.
Body systems, 25 points. A big one in that category. Teams, there is the sticker and the electric version of this, but the medical condition is when all of your organs are deprived of blood and you go into a state of what? Walker Mill. Victor.
You go into a state of hemia, well, something.
Nope. Hyattsville, when your organs are deprived of blood, your body goes into a state of what? I preface this by saying there was a sticker and an electric version of it.
Shock.
Shock, yes, you go into a state of shock, as in sticker shock when you look at the price of a car, and electric shock, of course, which occurs when you touch a live wire. Go red.
Zooparade for 5.
Zooparade, 5 points, teams. In China, they refer to college graduates who are still looking for work and living in cheap housing as these kinds of industrious social insects that are filled with formic acid. They're known as Walker Mill?
Ants.
Ants, that's right, ants. They're all over the place. What a bad term for human beings. Go green.
Zooparade for 25.
Zooparade 25, big one in that category, teams. Listen carefully. If I told you that worms and grasshoppers and snakes are cephalized, but starfish and sponges and jellyfish are not, you would tell me the difference between the two is what?
Water. The one that are not, they live in water?
No, that's not correct. Cephalization. Cephalization, you can find it in grasshoppers and snakes and worms. You cannot find cephalization in sponges and starfish and jellyfish. What's different about them?
Just starfish and jellyfish really don't have eyes.
I'd like to pass this to
Sean?
Well, the starfish, jellyfish, they don't have eyes or, well, yeah.
That's very close. There is no head. There is no head. Cephalization means that there is a definitive head. There are no heads on those other three. The others do, in fact, have cephalo is a prefix meaning head. We were hoping you would have picked up on that. No points. 215 for Hyattsville still. 180 for Walker Mill. Go green. Isaiah.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25 points, teams. A scientist recently returned from North Korea and reported he was upset that thousands of these high-speed spinning machines that separate chemicals were discovered there, Hyattsville.
Centrifuge?
Centrifuges, yes, cause for great concern because of the potential for the development of atomic weaponry. Red.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points, teams. Even though they technically can't fly, many seeds have these. Walker Mill?
Wings.
Wings, that's right. Good. Isaiah.
Green things, 25.
Green things for 25 points, teams. The ascent of red food coloring up a stalk of celery, a familiar scientific demonstration, is, yes, Mahalia.
Capillary action. Yeah. Capillary action.
Capillary action is exactly what is responsible for the ascent of that column of red fluid. Excellent. Go. Red.
Let's get physical for 5.
Get physical for 5 points, teams. The Leonids and the Perseids are these kinds of showers for... Yes, Hyattsville?
Meteor?
Meteor showers for which you need no umbrellas. All right, we're down to the last 3 questions. Red, you choose.
Dateline for 5.
Dateline for 5 points, teams. Four Loko, that dangerous drink that contains way too much alcohol, has been modified, and they've taken out what stimulant from that drink? Hyattsville.
Caffeine?
Caffeine. The caffeine is out, but the alcohol remains. It is still very dangerous and really should be taken off the market, according to a number of people. 2 questions left. Red, please.
Take Potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. Teams, if you were at a science fair and you look at the backboard and you saw a sentence that said the space between each footprint was 3 feet, that's an observation. But if the next sentence says the animal was walking and not running, that's a what? That's a what, Walker Mill?
A theory.
No, that's not a theory. It's not a theory. Hyattsville? The distance between the footprints is 3 feet. That's an observation. If that's followed by the animal was walking and not running, that's a what?
Hypothesis. Hypothesis.
It's an interpretation of the data. An inference?
Hypothesis.
We will accept that interpretation or inference or conclusion. Any of those would have been acceptable. Last question of the game, Dateline for 25 points. Look at the monitor in the studio, please. Let's go out with a flourish here, Walker Mill. Teams, I'll give you 25 points if you can name this ancient volcano. Hyattsville?
Mount Vesuvius?
It is Mount Vesuvius that buried Pompeii and Herculaneum. And with that, we come to the end of our game. It looks like Hyattsville has done it. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. Don't you go away. And welcome back. We know that these young people are immensely talented when it comes to academics, but also their sportsmanship and their good manners are peerless. Between our breaks here, they were complimenting each other on what great players they were. That's a true testament of great citizens. Our final tally today, Walker Mill 185, Hyattsville 325. Congratulations, Hyattsville. You're aiming for championship number 6. You've made the first step. Billy and Mahalia and Sean, congratulations. And back there, wave to everybody. Kevin and Megan and Jordan and Miss Hafez, I know how proud you are. And we're really proud of you guys. Come on, Victor, let's get a nice smile going here. You're a great player. You and Isaiah and Grant, we loved having you guys here. Alvin, congratulations. I know you're very proud of these teammates. And Miss Cotton, thank you for putting in all that work. Walker Mill, you're a great school. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on another edition of Science Bowl. Bye-bye now.